following program is a SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
Good evening. Welcome to Sports Night. You already know who I'm joined by. This is Kara. This is Matt. I'm Travis. And very exciting day for Salisbury Athletics. And we'll get to that later. First, we're going to start talking about some men's lacrosse. They're still undefeated. We keep saying this every single week. They're still undefeated. They're 14-0. Last night, they had another dominant win against Christopher Newport, who's also a ranked team. They won 19-5. I just calculated before the show. They're outscoring ranked opponents this year 106-54. What do you think that there's anything? Do you think there's any team in the NCAA that can stop Salisbury from winning the national championship?
There's three that come to mind: York, RIT, and Tufts. We don't play those two until we get to the championship game. We'll play most likely one of those two. York will be tough because their goalie right now is averaging 4 goals against them, and they switch with the man up. They're the one team that I remember that we played in years past where when they go man down, they switch goalies. So they have a specialty goalie for that. So that'll be tough to adjust to. But going forward, and New York's also lost, so they're no longer top 5 school in the country. But going forward, if they can get through the regular season, I believe they're going to meet RIT or Tufts in the national championship unless something happens where both those schools get upset.
I would definitely agree with that. With the 3 schools that could possibly beat them, those were definitely the 3 that came to mind. I think if we're able to get York, if we're able to get that W away and everything, that would be huge. Right now, their offense it's great. You could go to anyone on that team and there's goals. They're all going in. There's no one stopping them. It's been fantastic. I think with them when they get to the national championship game, it's going to be that mental block of, if it is Tufts, not letting that get to them and just playing the game.
Exactly, and Tufts is a 2-time defending champ coming into this year, which one of those victories for them was against Salisbury 12-9 in 2014 in Raven Stadium. So I'm sure that senior class is motivated because they were there. They were a part of that. But going forward, Cirillo has 62 points, Blondino has 57. Then you would think Kalama is third. No, it's James Burton. He has 31 assists on the year. He's the X factor. As long as he keeps playing and keeps distributing the ball, they can go as far as they want.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. 31 assists is just an outstanding. Between Cirillo, Blondina, Kalama, and Burton, that's 4 players who have above 30, whether it be goals or assists in a statistical category. They have 247 goals for and only 90 against. That's number 1 in the country for goals for, number 1 in the country for goals per game, and 16th in the country for goals allowed. You mentioned that York has a strong goalie and a strong defense, but I don't know if they're going to have enough to stop Salisbury's attack.
And see, when you look at it on paper, you can say, okay, yes, this team is really good, but then you also got to consider strength of schedule, who they've played, how they played them, where they played them. Because coming into Siegel Stadium is not an easy feat, let alone an easy task. It's not a fun day. We saw Roanoke, top 20 team in the country, come in, put up 6 goals. Ranked teams don't have an easy time against the Salisbury defense. Salisbury's been tested multiple times. Lynchburg, Gettysburg, Ohio Wesleyan. So this is nothing new to them. And then they hold Christopher Newport to less than 10 goals at 5. So they're just continuing their dominance on defense. So I think it's just a matter of how far they can go.
Yeah, Christopher Newport was a ranked team this week, and they went on the road. Salisbury went on the road, held them to 5 goals. I'm pretty sure more than half of their schedule is against ranked teams. They're averaging a 15-7 victory against them, which 15 goals for against the ranked team. That's, that's impressive in its own. And then the 7 goals against against ranked teams is just lights out, shut the door, go home. When they played Lynchburg and shut them out in the fourth quarter after trailing by 3 goals entering, I think that was the moment to me where I said, wow, this Salisbury team can go far this year. And I don't think there's a team that could stop them unless it's like Denver or Notre Dame.
And to go along with that, to go forward, to beat Lynchburg, that was a big motivation, big momentum swing because they went into Gettysburg. They were tied going into the fourth quarter. They scored 3 goals to Gettysburg 0, win 10-7. And they overtime against Ohio Wesleyan where they win 13-12. So they've had these close games and it's helped swing their momentum and improve this team, whereas a loss might have set them back and shaken them a little bit. But going forward, this team's going to be tough to beat come playoff time.
Yeah. This Saturday, they will play host to Frostburg State, and it's going to be the first game in the brand new Siegel Stadium. Today was the grand opening of the Siegel Stadium, brand new facility, and it was open to the public for the first time. We were there. We took a tour of the building, so why don't we just take a look at some of the footage we got and some interviews.
Welcome to the brand new Siegel Stadium. What you're about to see is going to vault Salisbury University to the top of the list among D3 facilities in the country. This new stadium will help in recruiting, not just for the 4 teams that play here, but for all 21 varsity sports.
When I travel, you need to know that whenever I travel, the reputation of Salisbury University precedes me, and I'm often asked, what makes Salisbury University so special? And my answer is always the same, it's the people. But whether you started at Salisbury University in the fall or you're a senior who's been waiting for this moment for years, thank you for choosing Salisbury University and for helping to advance us in competition. This project was not funded by taxpayer dollars. It was paid for by university-generated funds along with very generous gifts from some important donors and friends of Salisbury University. You can see the plaques behind me.
So that's the brand new Siegel Stadium. I'm just going to give a couple of quick statistics on that stadium. So like Coach DiBartolo mentioned, or not coach anymore, athletic director DiBartolo mentioned, it is a top stadium in Division III, top 10 out of 442. There's 4 levels to it. So there's the concourse, which has the retail shops, the concessions, the ticket booth, restrooms, and a tailgate area on the outside. Second floor is training. They have classrooms for prep. They have conference rooms and stuff like that. The third floor is VIP seating only with suites for the president and the athletic directors and any special guests that they invite. And then the fourth floor is the press box, which has all the media stuff. You know, there's coaches' booths. There's a separate booth just for the Siegel Sports Network, one for radio. What is, and the attendance is going to grow from about 2,200 to 5,000. So what, out of everything I just mentioned, what's your favorite part of it? Let's start with you, Matt.
I like the sports info just because I work for them, but I like the locker rooms. Locker rooms are fantastic. I walked in there and I thought, this is a D1 facility. You can't tell that. If you didn't know Salisbury was Division III, you would think it was D1. That's how nice they are. They did a great job. All around the stadium is, like Travis said, top stadium. I've heard coaches refer to it as the best one in Division III. It puts us on the map. Alongside with our athletics, it finally shows what all that hard work goes into is this new stadium. So I'm excited for the future. And I talked to Nestor, and he said, Coach Nestor, women's lacrosse coach, said it'd be nice to, break in the new stadium with that, bringing back that trophy. So,
What about you?
Definitely. I mean, God, there's so many cool things about it. I would say definitely the locker rooms. Just going off of being on a sports team here at school and comparing what we used to have at Mags and comparing what they have at the stadium now, it's a dramatic difference. And it's just absolutely outstanding. The facilities that they have, the clinic is fantastic. For them to have that as their pre and post game stuff, that's going to save so much time for them. And it's just so cool. I can't wait to use it.
Yeah, definitely a D1 caliber facility. So now, Salisbury baseball, they've been a hot topic of discussion all season long. But the fact of the matter is they are tied for first place in a three-way tie for first place in the CAC with only 5 regular season games left. So, what do you so what do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, like, if right now for the past week or so, the pitching has gotten a little bit better. You have seen improvements. Like Shockley had a shutout against Washington College. If our pitching stays consistent and our batting stays consistent, and overall, they'll be able, I think, to clinch the first spot for the CACs.
I think pitching they got to grab this momentum that they've had and how they've pitched this last couple of games with Shockley pitching a complete game. Not saying he has to go out and do it every game, but you got to give them 7 strong or 6 1/3, somewhere 6, 7, 5 2/3, somewhere around there to go strong to get in that bullpen where it doesn't rely on them to pitch the majority of the game. And their offense just has to keep doing what they're doing. They can't have that hiccup against where they lost 23-6 on that back end of that doubleheader the other day.
Yeah, I was calling that game with Chris, who's not here tonight. But yeah, that was pretty bad. They picked up a really big win yesterday against Marymount at home. That's actually what got them into the three-way tie for first place. So they're in the tie with Frostburg and Marymount. If you look at who's below them, it's Wesley at 8-5 and Christopher Newport at 7-6. It's a tightly contested battle. The top 5 teams in the conference are all separated by 2 games. If you look at Salisbury's remaining conference, they have a couple of non-conference games left, but if you look at their remaining conference schedule, they play at York, who's a doubleheader. They're lower down in the conference. Salisbury, I think, should be able to handle them. They're 7-20 overall. And then they play one more game against Christopher Newport, which is a big one because they're in that top 5. And then they close out with a doubleheader at home against Penn State Harrisburg, who also is a little bit further down. They're 14-17 on the year. As for me, I think they can do it. You mentioned Connor Shockley's complete game against Washington. Lately, they have been having some spurts where their pitching has been pretty good. Against Marymount yesterday, Pete Grosso went 6 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run allowed. On Monday against Mary Washington, freshman Ian Scheidemann pitched 7 innings. So to go 7 innings, especially in the first game of a doubleheader, is just huge, especially on the bullpen. And then, of course, the Connor Shockley complete game. So if they can just pitch like that, at least every other game, then I think they will take home the CAC regular season. It's just heading into the NCAA regionals and the CAC tournament that I think they might struggle.
Yeah, if they win the CAC, they're going to get that automatic berth into the regional final, or regional tournament, and that's where they're not going to be playing CAC teams. They're going to be playing other teams, and that's when you really got to pitch perfect because those other teams are a lot higher in team ERA than we are at 7, just a little bit over 7. So this is win or go home time. This is where you strap up and you play games and you play focused all the time. You can't think, there's tomorrow, because there is no tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely no tomorrow. They have 3 straight College World Series appearances. That's not just the tournament where you play the regionals. That's winning their regional and going to Appleton, Wisconsin to play for the national championship. I'm sure that they want to continue that streak. I'm sure the seniors want to go out playing there all 4 years. And I know that Coach Brohan wants to get there in his 2nd season in a row. But to close out tonight's show, we're going to inform you about the Salisbury University women's rugby team and their fight for a national championship. I spoke yesterday to 2 players, Gabby Hyken and Megan Hamilton, about the team's struggle to try and fund their way to their journey of a national championship.
As a club sport, we don't get the funding that varsity sports get, so we're pretty much on our own for funding our way all the way out to California this year.
Right now we're around $1,500, and that's obviously not close enough to 20 plane tickets to California.
We calculated out it's probably going to be $23,000 for us to
Right.
get out to California. The school might help us. Sometimes we get $1,000 from the school if we get to that level. Last year we didn't. But basically whatever we don't raise comes out of our pockets. And
We've done restaurant fundraisers in the past, and they just don't generate like enough revenue to support what we need right now. And so we're just trying to reach out to the community to see if to reach out to the community if they are interested in what we're doing.
We're really reaching out to a lot of athletes. It's every athlete's dream to have a shot at a national title, and we finally have it. We've all been playing sports for years.
If you go on Salisbury University's website and then just do the search bar, Give Corps, that should pop up with a donation link, and that is donation pages that are through the school, and then you should find club sports, and there we are next to the boys team. But right now we're going to nationals.
So they're going to open up in Virginia this weekend with their first game against UNC Charlotte. And should they win their 2 games this weekend, they'll have another one after that. They will travel to California for the semifinals and the finals. If you would like to help them reach their goal to get to California, you can go to salisburyu.givecorps.com and just search women's rugby. But that's all that we're going to have time for here tonight on Sports Night. For Kara and Matt, I'm Travis. Have a great weekend, everybody.